Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by quiet mountains, there lived a young man named Marco. He was only 24, yet his heart carried the weight of someone much older. His mind was never still. All day, thoughts came and went like restless birds in a storm. He thought about the past with sorrow, replaying mistakes he could never undo. He worried about the future with fear, imagining problems that had not yet arrived. His mind was like a battlefield. He could not sleep well. He could not smile freely. And every morning when the sun rose, he felt as if he had already lost the day before it even began. People in his village often saw him walking alone by the river or sitting quietly under a tree. But inside, Marco was never quiet. His thoughts were louder than the rushing water, louder than the singing birds. He longed for silence, for peace, for a moment where his heart would finally rest. One day, he heard a story from an old traveler. Far away, in a village hidden deep in the hills, there lived a wise old man. Once, he had been a famous psychologist in the city, helping people heal their minds. But as the years passed, he grew tired of the city's noise and left everything behind to live close to nature. It was said that he still guided those who came to him, teaching them how to find the peace that hides within every human being. When Marco heard this, a spark lit up inside him. For the first time in a long time, he felt hope. Maybe, just maybe, this man could help him escape the storm inside. Without waiting, Marco packed a small bag and began his journey. The road was long and tiring. Days turned into nights, and nights into days. He walked through forests where the trees whispered secrets of the wind, crossed rivers where the water seemed endless, and climbed hills that tested his strength. Yet something pushed him forward, the dream of finding peace. At last, after many days, Marco reached the village in the hills. It was small and quiet, wrapped in green like a hidden treasure. At the edge of the village stood a little house covered with vines and flowers. On its porch, an old man was sitting silently, his eyes closed, his face calm like still water. Marco stopped for a moment. Just by looking at the old man, he felt something unusual, a silence deeper than anything he had ever known. He walked closer and spoke softly. "Grandfather, my mind is very restless. I cannot stop thinking. I am always tired, always worried. Please, I want peace. Can you help me?" The old man slowly opened his eyes. They were gentle, yet they carried the weight of many lifetimes. A calm smile appeared on his lips. He nodded and said, "So you are searching for peace? Then come with me. I will give you a small task." He stood up, walked to his little yard, and filled a glass of water until it was completely full, right to the edge. Not a single drop more could fit inside. He handed the glass to Marco and said, "Take this glass, walk from here to the end of the village and then return. But remember, not even a single drop must spill." Marco looked at the glass in surprise. He had expected words of wisdom, not a strange challenge. But he respected the old man and accepted. Holding the glass carefully, he began to walk. The road was narrow and busy. Children played on the side. Shopkeepers called out to customers. Dogs barked. Women carried baskets of vegetables. Yet Marco saw none of it. His eyes were fixed only on the glass. Each step was slow, careful, measured. His breath matched his footsteps. His entire world shrank to the trembling water inside that fragile glass. People in the village stopped to watch. They whispered among themselves, but no one disturbed him. They knew he was learning something important. Step by step, he made his way to the edge of the village, then slowly returned to the old man's house. Finally, he arrived, his hands trembling slightly but the water still untouched. "Grandfather," Marco said with relief, "I did it. I did not spill a single drop." The old man smiled gently. "That is good," he said. "But tell me, did you see the children laughing on the side of the road? Did you hear the dogs barking? Did you notice the market around you?" Marco looked surprised. "No, I did not see or hear anything. I was only looking at the water in the glass." The old man's smile grew deeper. "And that, my son, is the secret. Peace is not something that exists outside. It is not in the noise, not in the market, not even in the silence of the mountains. Peace lives inside you, hidden beneath your restless thoughts. When your mind stays in the present moment, focused only on what is here and now, then fear has no place, sorrow has no place, and the storm inside you disappears. Just as you thought only about the water, you too can choose to give your mind only one task: to stay here, now, in this moment. Marco listened carefully. Each word entered his heart like rain on dry soil. He began to understand. All his life, he had been running between the past and the future. But in doing so, he had missed the only place where life truly exists: the present. The sun was setting behind the hills, painting the sky in gold and crimson. Birds were flying back to their nests. The air smelled of earth and evening. For the first time, Marco felt all of it. He was not lost in thoughts of yesterday, nor was he worried about tomorrow. He was simply there, watching, breathing, living. He bowed his head before the old man. "Grandfather, now I understand. If I want to calm my mind, I must live here, in this very moment. That is where real peace lives." The old man nodded. "Yes. Remember, life is like that glass of water. If you guard it carefully, focusing only on this step, this breath, then you will walk through the world without spilling your peace. But if your eyes wander, if your mind runs away, then you will stumble, and peace will slip away. The choice is always yours." Marco stayed in the village a few more days. Each morning, he sat quietly under a tree, listening to the sound of the wind, the call of the birds, the rhythm of his breath. Slowly, his storm began to fade. He learned that the mind, like the sky, can hold clouds, but beyond the clouds there is always a clear blue space. That space was his peace. When he finally left for home, he was no longer the same restless young man. His steps were lighter, his eyes were softer. He carried with him not just the old man's lesson but a new way of living. Now, whenever thoughts of the past tried to chain him, or worries of the future tried to chase him, he would remember the glass of water and return to the present. And so, Marco discovered that peace was never in the hills, never in the old man, never in the journey. Peace was within him all along, waiting for him to notice. So if ever you find yourself restless, drowning in memories or fears, remember Marco's walk. Take the glass of your mind, hold it steady, and walk step by step in the present. You will see, peace is not something to search for. Peace is something to live. And with that thought, I leave you here tonight. If this story touched your heart, carry its lesson with you. Share it with others who may need it. And always remember, stay here, stay now, stay peaceful.